Hi guys, welcome back to our vegan kitchen and channel. We're happy that you're here. We've got a great recipe for you today for vegan lemon blueberry cake. I'm still trying to use up the most beautiful blueberries this season. This was a really great season for them. They were big and juicy and plentiful and cheap. That's the best part. I like when things are affordable because then I can really enjoy them. Because if they're expensive, I'm like, oh, this.
You're thinking about it the whole time you're eating it.
Yeah, pretty much. So this was good. So this recipe is basically mix your dry ingredients together, mix your wet ingredients together, have a little wetting, and then then add the blueberry babies to it. I'm going to start with the wet ingredients. I've got some non-dairy milk here. I always get the unsweetened original so that I don't have to worry when I make a savory recipe that there's going to be a vanilla flavor in there and it's going to be weird and gross. So I always just get the original so that I never have to worry about that. Don't worry if you missed something. All of the ingredients and the measurements will be in the info box below. So to the non-dairy milk, we're going to be adding some lemon juice. Beautiful organic lemon juice from Italy. We've got some unsweetened applesauce. I always like to buy everything unsweetened and then I add my own sugar, or I add my own like Monkfruit sweetener to it so that I can control the amount of sugar that's in there.
I'm getting that everywhere.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Alright, so basically we're just making some curdled milk here because that will help the cake puff up when it's in the oven, because we're using baking powder and baking soda. The acid reacts with the base, and they say let's have a party.
Science.
Exactly. So this is gluten-free. I used some whole rolled oats, and I just actually used this the way it was supposed to be used. This is the dry container. So it's for making flour and stuff like that. So I've got 1 cup of oatmeal. Then we've also got a cup of almond flour or almond meal. This might be almond meal. And then we've got 1/2 cup of Monkfruit sweetener, but if you don't have Monkfruit or you don't like Monkfruit, you could use either granulated cane sugar or some coconut sugar. Then to help bind it together, we've got some golden flax that has been milled. I prefer the golden flax over the darker one just because this is a lighter cake and you don't want to see like a mouse went poop in your whole cake. You know, those pieces of like the flax when you ground it. I don't like that, so I always get the golden. It's like the difference between white pepper and regular pepper. You don't want to put regular pepper in a bechamel sauce because it's going to like be all specks of stuff, so you put the white pepper. And then we have some baking powder and baking soda. So we're just going to give these a quick mix. You can see that this is starting to curdle already. It's looking beautiful. So we just want to make sure that these are equitably distributed before we add our wet ingredients, because this is going to come together very quickly. In fact, before I put on the wet ingredients, I'm going to turn on my oven so that it can preheat to 350 degrees. Okay, the oven is preheating, so now I'm going to add all of my wet. Now don't overmix this because you're going to lose the bang for your buck, which is the bubbles happening. So mix this as little as possible, but still mixing it completely. Don't like use one of those high-speed mixers with the...
You want a hand mix.
Yeah, you want to hand mix this, and you want to fold it gently because you can see already you're getting a lot of volume here. Now I'm going to add the blueberries. This is just a little bit more than a dry pint. I had 2 pints. Some of them were not so great, so I kind of combined them, but you should use probably about a pint.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you dry them pretty well before you put them in there, because then it's going to make the cake too soupy. Don't worry if there's a couple of lumps, that'll work itself out. So that's that. I've got I think this is a 10-inch. We go through this every time. It is a 10-inch that I've already put some cooking spray on. And I'm just gonna put my mixture in here. This is a pretty liquidy mixture, so it'll probably be self-leveling. You won't have to worry too much about like spreading it out. And as soon as that beeps, we're going to pop this in for about 25 to 30 minutes. All right, it's out of the oven.
Ooh,
and it's cooling
yeah.
off. It looks quite nice. I'm going to mix a little glaze for the top. So I've got some lemon juice in here and some organic powdered sugar. I'm just going to stir it up. We're going to bring it with us because we're going to my mom's house for dinner. As soon as the cake is nice and cool after we eat, because I'm going to throw it in the fridge. Well, I'll place it in the fridge. I'll pour the glaze over the top, and then we'll be ready to eat it. Look at how nicely that mixed up. Actually, I might put it on now because when it's warm, it will liquefy a little bit, and then as it cools, it will harden. So I think I'm going to put it on right now. So here we are at dessert, and my husband is doing a phenomenal job of cutting it up. It looks really good. And then he serves it up, and in the next picture you could see it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. It was kind of like a pie on the bottom with a crust on the top, like a cake crust. Not what we were going for.
What you doing?
Having a little snack. It was kind of a fail in a way.
It was and it wasn't.
It was a learning experience. Here's what's left. Now you can see it's kind of like a pie.
With like a cake crust.
Right. Alright, I decided to come in here with a creepy voiceover. I had filmed something else going on and on about how maybe I used too many blueberries, and then I slept on it, and I actually thought of what the real problem here was. The batter was way too wet. The original recipe had some chia seeds in it, and that probably would have soaked up a lot of the liquid. That's why there was so much liquid. So I think this would be much, much better when done with a 1/3 of a cup of non-dairy milk instead of the 2/3 that was originally in the recipe. So I will put the amended recipe in the info box below so that you don't get it confused. That's the final recipe in the info box. What you see on the video was the preliminary recipe. So I think if we just cut down the milk and keep the blueberries the same, everything will be a-okay. It was really good though. I hope you guys give it a try. Don't get upset by our fail. Because
It's an experiment.
It's an experiment, and you might really like it. You might find something that you really like when it's accidentally good. So give it a shot. Subscribe for more. A thumbs up if you like. And until next time, much love.